All right, man. We are live, man. Welcome to the Talking Sports with Manny channel. With me today, I got my guy Porkman in the building, man. We're going to talk about this Carson Wentz trade to the Washington Commanders. If you're new to the channel, please please support your boy Talking Sports with Manny. Like, subscribe, share. And this podcast episode is going into the Back Row Commanders show. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. We're going to go ahead and dive right on into it. So, the Washington Commanders, I almost said the Washington football team. I'm used to saying it, the Washington football team. But the
Right.
Washington Commanders have traded for Carson Wentz. Now, initially, when I saw it, I didn't know whether to be happy, whether to be sad. First thing that jumped out to me was like, oh my gosh, what did we trade? What did we trade for this guy? Then I was like, 2/3 at the time, right? I'm like, 2/3 is not bad. Think about it. For the caliber of quarterback that Carson Wentz is, 2/3, like we tried to get Russell Wilson. That didn't happen.
Right.
We tried to get Aaron. Nobody's coming to DC unless you draft or you trade for somebody. And with the need being Carson Wentz, you trade 2/3 and then you swap second round picks. Then if he plays 70% of the plays, then you know that third becomes a second next year. What is your initial thoughts on this trade, for man?
I'll actually love the trade for you guys. I mean, just to give up 2/3, and I think that third turns into a second if he plays 70% of the snaps, and you move down 5 picks. You gotta. I know some people may say he's not a franchise quarterback, but
Right.
in my opinion, hey, he played pretty well until he caught COVID last year, and then after that, you saw his talent a little bit declined a little bit. But I just think partially from him being unvaccinated and getting sick, and that caused a little tension in the locker room, so that probably didn't help as well. But hey, I mean, I think you guys got a huge upgrade. I mean, he played pretty well, but he was an average quarterback. He's a high level backup, average starter. So I think right now you have a high level quarterback that can push the ball down the field. He can throw the ball accurately to your backs and make your tight end relevant again. That's what you guys love.
Exactly.
And you're paying the $28 million salary on a quarterback. We're looking at quarterbacks now getting paid $40 million, $50 million a year. So right now, in layman's terms, it's kind of is a discount for a starting quarterback in this league. So I will be happy.
So Condoleezza is not happy right now. She says that the Washington Commanders are paying $28 million of the salary. Now, I'm going to break that down. Washington does have, I think, $33 million in cap, or 35, somewhere around there. So the 28 of that 33 or 35 counts towards this year's cap. But here's the thing. The fans were upset and angry. Oh, we're not getting anybody. We're not doing anything. We're not showing that we're serious, right? Heinicke, God bless his heart, he is a good backup in the NFL. That's what he is. That's what he's here for when Carson Wentz is hurt. We know Carson's going to get hurt, right? But here's the thing. This just shows you that the team is serious about winning. Last year, they won 7 games. There were at least 4 games that Heinicke could not get this team over the hump. He just couldn't get those wins, okay? You now get Carson Wentz, right? Yes, a bulk of the cap goes towards Carson Wentz, but the cap is a myth. There's ways that you can manipulate the cap to still sign some nice players this year. What this tells me is now that you have Carson Wentz as your quarterback, you're going to have an opportunity to get a guy like Amari Cooper if you chose. You know what I'm saying? You can get some of these vets. Now, when you had Heinicke was bringing nobody. Now that you have Carson Wentz, a guy who's proven, if you look at Carson Wentz stats, he's been in the league, 6 years?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And out of those 6 years, he only had 2 bad years, which was the rookie season with double-digit interceptions and the season with the Eagles, his last season with the Eagles, he had double-digit interceptions. Every other year, he's got 7. So he takes care of the ball fairly well. He's not a turnover-prone kind of guy. He has the arm talent. He might not be as mobile as you might want, but he's going to be able to hit these guys while they're open. Now you talk about the De'Ami Browns of the world. You talk about Terry McLaurin. You now have a quarterback that can get these guys the ball. Everybody's saying sign Terry, re-sign Terry, extend Terry. Who told y'all Terry wants to extend?
Right. Not with a quarterback that's not getting him the ball because he needs that money.
Exactly.
He wants the production, and the production comes with money. So okay,
Exactly.
I'm just going to leave so I can get paid elsewhere.
Hello. And this is not the NFL. I mean, this is not the NBA where you can only get this X amount of money with this team. Terry can
Right.
leave and get money elsewhere. So I think this is a move that makes Washington better now, and then they can get out of the deal. So the full
Right.
terms of the deal is if you play 70% of the games, then that third round becomes a second round. What this did for Washington was you get to keep your first round pick. You can still draft a quarterback at 11 if you chose to. You can
Right.
now get a receiver because guess what? Now that you have Carson Wentz, you got to surround this guy with the best talent possible. You're talking about a Chris Olave. You're talking about a Garrett Wilson, possibly being a
Mm-hmm.
Treylon Burks if you want to go that route. So now you can add the talent. You can add a receiver through the draft and even free agency if you wanted to. This
Right.
offense is going to be a lot better. They're going to put pieces around Carson Wentz to help him be successful. With Terry and De'Ami Brown and whoever else they have, that's not enough. It is time to upgrade on every single position. Now, Pork, let me ask you this. What do you think that Carson Wentz does well? Now, for you guys that are watching, you guys might not know Porkman. He's a fantasy analyst, knows the stuff, but he's also an Eagles fan. So he's going to give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. So give me the good. Let's start with the good. What is the good of Carson Wentz? What does he do well?
I love the fact that when he drops back the pass, he seems like that he's always engaged in the game. What I mean by that is like when he drops back the pass and he sees somebody's coming, he's going to do whatever it takes for you to get the ball downfield or get somebody the ball. Now, sometimes that can be a detriment because sometimes he tries too much and he likes to throw left-handed interceptions like he did last year. But he has a big arm, and what I like to see that is with Terry McLaurin. When Terry McLaurin had a quarterback that was getting him the ball consistently, he looked like a top 5 to top 10 receiver in this league. He's missed that, and Carson totally gives him that all throughout the season. So I think just with that arm talent, that's what y'all need totally for this team to succeed. I would hate for y'all to beat us with Carson Wentz, but I'm happy for y'all to actually have a quarterback to unlock some of that talent that you guys have.
Exactly. And then on top of that, so that's the good. You've talked a little bit about the bad. Give me the full out, the bad and the ugly. Just give me the good, the bad and the ugly. Like, what does Carson Wentz not do well? Like, where can teams really attack Carson Wentz and not have and make him not have success?
I think if they continue to just bring him pressure and he's thinking too much in the backfield, and that causes him to come to the line and change a run play to a pass play to try to play a little bit of hero ball. I just think he needs to humble himself at times and like, hey, we're gonna need to run the ball with Antonio Gibson. We need to give the ball to Jared Patterson. Throw a little check downs to McKissick. Don't try to do too much because sometimes when he does too much, he starts doing interceptions. He gets hurt. Like last year, he had two sprained ankles, which I thought it was impossible. Like I just think his pride sometimes gets the best of him. He just needs to scale back a little bit, and they probably had to take a little bit away from him, like the checks and stuff at times to see like, hey, you shouldn't have checked out of this pass. You should not check this run into a pass. Just stick with whatever game plan that you have, and then we can keep going from there.
Now, I got some great comments in the comment section. I'm going to go through some of them. Now, let's talk about Condoleezza because she's still angry right now. She would have rather preferred a guy like Trubisky or, Jameis Winston. I get it. They're a lot cheaper. But who's to say that Jameis Winston would leave the Saints to come to Washington? Nobody wants to come to Washington. Then you talk about Trubisky. Yeah. Trubisky has a market this year. You got teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is going to go after some kind of quarterback.
Right.
Because they're fully loaded, good defense, good offense, good wide receiver. So it's not a guarantee that a lot of these guys wanted to come to DC. So it's not a guarantee. You can't pass up on an opportunity like this because essentially after this year, if Carson Wentz does not work, you let him go and you lose nothing. All that you lost was a third and a second. Okay, we blow third and seconds every single day, right?
Every year, yeah.
Every year. There's some third round picks that the football team has drafted and people don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Look, the team sucks when it comes to drafting second round picks. So it happens. It's a opportunity cost. If it pans out, you got a quarterback for the next 2-3 years, and then you can still continue to find that guy that you can groom that can take over for Carson Wentz. So overall, I love it just for the fact that you get to keep your first and your second round pick. That was beautiful
Right.
to get a
Yeah, you only can move. You only got to move five picks back. That was clutch.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Exactly. I mean, that's fine. And then if he doesn't play well, you can get out of the deal. The only thing that's guaranteed is this season. So I'm here for it. That just means that the team said they were calling everybody. Everybody thought they were lying. Oh, what do you mean you're calling them? They called literally every single team and says, hey, what's the availability of your quarterback? What is it going to take to get this guy or that guy? So they went down the line. They were interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm kind of glad they didn't get Jimmy Garoppolo because to me, from what I've seen, Jimmy's a winner. When you look at the stats and when you look at the team wins, and I mean, he's gotten to the NFC Championship game 2 times, right? In the last 3 years. So he's a winner when you have that kind of talent around him. Does the football team have that kind of talent around? No.
Not right now, no.
Not right now. But then, with a quarterback like Wentz, I think Wentz is more respected than Jimmy G. I mean, you can look at the numbers. I mean, you can look at the play. They're similar. And it felt like Jimmy G was going to go for at least a second round pick. Granted,
he is.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And as the options start to dwindle, you're going to see other deals that possibly are worse than this particular deal right here. Next comment. Timeout Sports says, if we can't get Amari Cooper, I say target Juju Smith-Schuster. Tell me, what do you think Juju Smith-Schuster would bring to this offense? Because I like Juju.
Juju will bring a definite security blanket for him in the slot position, because we all know that he's not a number one receiver. We saw that in Pittsburgh after AB left. So Juju with Terry McLaurin, and Lord knows if Curtis Samuel will be back. I'm not really sure if he's hurt or not right now, but I think Juju Smith-Schuster as a number 2 or number 3 on his team is really good. And Fournette, I don't know. I know how people feel about Antonio Gibson.
Right.
He's been hurt a lot. So I can see a Fournette being there, them being like a nice 1-2 punch for this team.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna read these next 2 comments because these are pretty good. So Dave Robb says that Wentz feeds the wide receivers and tight ends, and that's what we need. We needed a guy that can feed the wide receivers and the tight ends. We haven't had a guy that can feed the wide receivers and tight ends. This also makes me think. I think that the Washington Commanders are going to sign another tight end, another veteran tight end that's going to come in and help John Bates and also Logan Thomas. He's coming off that injury. Carson Wentz is the perfect quarterback for tight ends. I think we bring in somebody else that's low key. If you look at the class of free agents that are tight ends, it's pretty deep and it's pretty solid. Even if you get in a guy like an Ebron, who I don't like, he's still a nice number 3 tight end. Talk to me about Carson Wentz and the connections with the tight ends.
Well, we all know the connection with him and Ertz. It was just like peas and carrots. Every time he would just feed him the ball nonstop. When it came to the receivers, at times, he when he relied on his tight ends too much, he kind of forgot about his receivers, because at some point in the offense, he wasn't leading his receivers open. He was just throwing them to them when they were open. So, I mean, that's something that we have to look out for as well. But his tight end group, and I kind of disagree with you with the third tight end. I don't think they're going to spend that much money, because when John Bates did play last year, he actually played pretty serviceable when Logan Thomas was out. So I think they might save a little bit of money, and they might draft a tight end, just like a nice blocking tight end for a third option. But I think with Bates and Logan Thomas, I think they'll be pretty good.
And this comment right here is from Carl. He's an Indy fan, so he knows Carson Wentz as well. He says that
he's right.
He has to carry the team for a bit. He starts to do dumb stuff. But I would say this. It's debatable that you can say that this might be the best defense that Carson Wentz has ever had. Now, you're an Eagles fan. You guys had some pretty good defenses. Do you think that this Washington's defense is the best defense that Carson Wentz has ever played with?
It's probably a fact. We had Jim Schwartz, who never blitzed and didn't cause anybody for turnovers and stuff, so we constantly had to score points. Your defense, your front four is quite ridiculous. So I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys will be good with that as well. So I think that's a fact. And Carl is kind of right with that teams he started doing dumb stuff.
Yeah,
Because it's like
happens.
when the last game for a perfect example, he lost to the Jaguars. Like all you had to do was run the ball. He didn't throw a interception at
But you know what,
home
though?
all season
Is that a coach's
until
fault?
that game.
Is that the coach or is that Wentz? Like, okay, the play call. Why would you pass when you don't need to pass? I think in this offense, in the kind of offense, the Air Coryell, the kind of offense that Scott Turner runs, I think that Wentz is going to have a field day because the middle of the field is always schemed open with this offense. So he has an opportunity to do a lot of rollouts.
That's what he needs, by the way.
Rollouts. You're going to have a lot of checkdowns, like you said, to McKissick. I think McKissick stock goes up. I think Gibson's stock goes up because he does love his running backs as well. And then when Logan Thomas comes back healthy, I think the tight end is going to be a big part of what they do. But do you think the football team or the Commanders, it's going to take me a while, do you think that the Commanders try and get a big body type receiver? Or do you think, hey, they go for another outside guy that is close to Terry's level of production or even better?
I think they'll get another big body guy, just like for a security blanket for him, so he can make those quick passes and just move the chains. I mean, we don't need y'all don't need another Terry McLaurin for the team. Terry McLaurin is the alpha for that team. Let him run downfield, open it up a bit, and then get a guy like Juju, like we was talking about earlier. A perfect guy would be Godwin, but he got franchise tagged, and you probably won't have the money for him anyway. But it's like a guy like that can move the chains, get first downs, and has reliable hands.
Right. I mean, even in the draft, there's still tons of options. You can get a guy like the guy from Georgia, Pickens.
That's my wide receiver one, by the way.
You see what I'm saying? And he's going to be available in the second round because you can't draft everybody in the first round. So it's just looking good for the football team right now, just to say, hey, we have a quarterback at least for the next 1 to 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to happen, but the good thing is it could work. It might not work, but at least the team is trying. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People try to say all this kinds of stuff that they want to say about, Scott Turner and, is Ron really trying? He's trying. It's not like we didn't put a good offer up for Russell Wilson. 2 firsts, right. 2 seconds, or 2/3, or whatever it was. I mean, no, 3 firsts, 2 seconds.
It was 3 firsts, yeah.
A very competitive offer. But at the end of the day, Russell has a no trade clause. Do you want to go to Washington, Russell? Russell said no. Can you fault him?
And y'all didn't have. I don't think y'all had enough pieces to move out there too, like Denver had to move out there.
Well, it's debatable. I think we had defensive pieces. If anything, you could have moved a Daron Payne, who has upside to become something really nice. Okay, you could have moved a guy like Cam Curl. He's a very good safety, up and coming safety. So I think they had some guys, but it's just that number one, they probably didn't want to trade him to the NFC. And even if they did, guess what? Russell still has to waive that clause. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that he saw Washington and he looked at Terry and he says, who's the number 2? Who's the number 3? Who's the number 4? Oh, Logan Thomas is hurt. Oh, Gibson had the fumble issues. Mm-hmm. So if they trade all these picks for me, where in the world are they going to get the talent for me to throw to? That's another
thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you take the first and second. So you telling me that my wide receiver is going to be a 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round pick, or now I'm getting an AJ Green who's 90 years old or what? No. So he looked at the situation, and he looking at Denver. They already had an established offense. Think about it. You got Jerry Jeudy, you have Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler. They still have Albert O. Even after losing the tight end. So. And then Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon might just come back. So they just had a better supporting cast with a decent defense. Defense not as good as Washington's, but hey, that defense is pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Solid. So when you look at it, let's be honest here, Washington fans, or any like NFL fans that have brains, would you really choose Washington over Denver?
Nah.
It's a no-brainer.
You can't.
It's a no-brainer. So it's not even about who had the better offer. He had the right to say, I want to go here, I want to go there, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. And if you're waiting on the Deshaun Watson stuff, we don't know what comes out. We don't know what comes out come Saturday, right? That's number one.
Friday. Yeah, we find out on Friday what I'm not gonna say what really happened, what the ruling will be.
Exactly. Is he a criminal or is he a civilian that has done some bad things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Based off of how they're going to be able to justify this. So, look, as I'm talking to you, man, I'm getting all kinds of deals on Sleeper. Oh, no. I'm not. This guy is sending me James White, Simmons Reyes, and a 5th rounder for Noah Fant. No, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
No.
I'm not doing that. I don't like Noah Fant now that he's in Seattle, but I feel like I can get a better offer for Noah Fant. So, in the fantasy world, let's talk fantasy for a little bit.
Okay.
We've been waiting for a Terry McLaurin breakout. The guy's headed into year 4. I think now he does sign the extension. I think now they should offer the extension. It'll be cheaper now to do it now than to do it later. Now,
right.
What kind of year do you envision Terry having now that he has a better quarterback, possibly the best quarterback Washington has had since Kirk Cousins? Whether you like it or not, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback Washington has had since 1999, outside of Brad Johnson. Now, yes, I think the best since 99 has been Brad Johnson, Mark Brunell, RG3 for one season.
One season.
Kirk Cousins for 3, and then you've had nobody. So, I mean, whether you're excited about this deal, whether you're pissed off about this deal, all I know is that with Carson Wentz, with this squad, it buys you another 3 wins. Like you're almost guaranteed 10 wins. You don't have the toughest schedule. You don't have the toughest schedule like we had last year. You're not playing Brady. You're not playing Herbert. You're not playing. So last year we had Josh Allen, Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers. I can keep going.
It was bad. We had the same schedule, bro. It was rough.
It was rough. So this year it's not as bad. You're still going to play a lot of guys. We play the Colts, so that's a redemption game for Wentz. Wentz gets to play the Eagles 2 times. That's 3 games, and he better come with it. You got to prove these guys wrong. So what do you see Terry McLaurin doing this year with a guy like Carson Wentz?
I think Terry McLaurin can have maybe at least 1,100, 1,200 yard season. I'm not too high on the touchdowns. He might get like maybe 6 or 7 this year, but I think Carson Wentz offers him that arm talent he's been looking for since a Kirk Cousins, since he had somebody who actually threw him the rock. And ever since he hasn't been there, it's been it's been terrible. So yeah, I think he might be a top 15 wide receiver in fantasy football this year.
Man, look, I love this comment right here. Salute, Uptown Drake, man. Appreciate you hopping on the stream. He says, I like the move. Embrace Carson Wentz coming to DC. Smash the Sheagles.
Why you gotta say that, bro?
Hey. He's a scapegoat. Hey, but you know what though? Me and you have had this conversation. I do believe that Carson Wentz was the scapegoat. Like
he was the scapegoat. He honestly was a scapegoat. They kind of chewed him up and spit him out. They didn't give him anything. We had an offensive line who was hurt all season, so he was getting killed back there. He gave him no receivers. We had Greg Ward was our wide receiver 1, I believe, that 1 year. It was like, what did you expect the man to do? You pretty much broke him down emotionally, and he's still out there. He, in my opinion, he balled out with the Colts until the end of the season, and he fizzled out. But now you give him another shot. The guy can still play, and I'm behind Carson Wentz, even though he's not an Eagles fan too. Look, not an Eagles player.
Look, I would say this: when you look at the NFC East and how it's structured currently, right? You have Washington. Got a new quarterback. Let's see what the rest of the regular, offseason looks like. Brandon Sheriff is possibly gone, but they have the offensive line depth to combat if Sheriff does leave. I think he's going to leave now with this cap situation. I think he leaves. I still think the offensive line is still good enough. This is still a top 10 offensive line, even with Sheriff gone. Now we can come back at the end of the season and then we can clip this. We can say, hey, Mandy, he's crazy. This offensive line was trash. So you're saying Carson Wentz needs a good offensive line. I think we have that. We have one of the best offensive line coaches. We have tight ends that can block. Okay. Then we have a running game or somewhat. I still feel like they add somebody else. Receivers, we have one receiver. But that does not mean that guys like De'Ami Brown don't take that next jump, because now you finally have a guy that can throw the ball. So he's a wild card to me. But outside of De'Ami Brown and Terry, I think this receiving room needs work. Okay, they need work. They're losing Cam Sims. They're losing Humphreys might come back. So when you look at all of this, right, it's like overall he's in a better situation than he was his last year with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Knows
Yeah.
the NFC East very well, and it can be a possible 3-team race. I won't say 3-team race because I don't respect or trust the Giants right now.
No, they stink.
You know what I'm saying? So with Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, now they want to trade this guy that they spent a first-round pick to acquire,
Right.
which is a huge mistake. They picked 5, whatever it was. Now they're trying to get rid of this, so you don't know what's going to happen here. You look at the Dallas Cowboys; they are struggling to pay some people right now. You can talk
Facts.
about the Carson Wentz contract and laugh about the contract all you want. At the end of the day, it's not in the 40s. It's not in the 40s.
It's not.
A lot of these teams that are paying their quarterbacks at least $40 million, they ain't got no money to pay anybody else.
Nope.
So what do you do? So from that aspect of it, I'm like, whew, well, we dodged a bullet. We can still go ahead and draft our future and have a guy under a rookie contract deal, whatever the case may be. Let's see if Malik Willis is there at 11, which he's not. He's not going to be there.
He shouldn't be.
Look, after this deal that the Seahawks have done, if he's there at pick 9 for the Seahawks, he's there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have teams that possibly can grab him in the top 10. So I say all this to say, we got a comment here. Uptown Dre says, yo, FF Pork, your Beagle's fantastic, homie. My son and niece are this, but oh man, my guy Roger Smith, appreciate you hopping on the stream. He says this is the dumbest organization in football. This move is the beginning of the end for Ron Rivera. The level of incompetence is mind-boggling. I disagree with Roger.
But my question is that, like, so what I'm trying to figure out what did everybody else expect him to do? If the quarterback that they wanted when he came up to the draft wasn't there, then you're definitely screwed. So it's either way, you got to spend money or you're gambling at the draft when everybody else is trying to move. Because if you don't have enough draft capital to move up in the draft to get your guy, then you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're stuck with another year of Heineke.
Yeah, I'm with Dre. Dre says, hey, draft an elite wide receiver, corner, safety. Here's the thing with the wide receivers. There's some good ones that are available at 11. There's going to be some good ones that might be available once we pick again in the second round. My whole thing is this. If you believe that Olave is your guy, or if you believe Garrett Wilson, whoever it is your guy, you go ahead and grab your guy because you want to put somebody else on the outside to help Terry, right? Now, if you kind of wait on it in the second round, you better make sure you grab your guy because every year we've waited to grab somebody in the second. We've been grabbing guys in the third round, and I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. You know what I'm saying? So if your guy's in the first or second round, you grab it. You're showing that, hey, you're serious about improving this offense. You're serious about doing some things because free agency is not guaranteed. They're going to try to get a guy in free agency, but why overpay for a wide receiver when you have not paid the best receiver on your team in Terry McLaurin? I know I'm using a good word right now. That's okay.
You are.
Amen, but that's okay. Here's what needs to happen. You need to go ahead and extend Terry before the season starts. If you don't, it could become the beginning of the end. This is why I say what I say. If you don't pay Terry now, he's going to be super expensive at the end of the season. Then you're talking about, do we franchise tag this guy? If he dare hits that franchise tag, it's starting to be the beginning of the end. So that's why I say get it done now. Get it done now. You save a ton. You say, look, the money you pay Terry now is going to be a discount 3-4 years from now. If you wait till after the season, the price goes up. The price only goes up. There's such things as bad contracts. Sometimes you get bad, but I think this guy and his upside, it's just a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. We got more comments. Washington Commander Center, he says, dumbest move I've seen in years. A lot of people are not really feeling this move, and that's okay. I'm glad everybody has their own opinion. Dave Robb says, how long is this contract on Wentz? It's the extension that he signed with the Eagles, right? Talk about this one.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's the extension they signed with the Eagles. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's not that much, and I think you can get out of it quite easily if the years don't add up to to the end of his contract. But I think they paying the 28, and I think after this year, if they don't like how he's doing, I think they can move off of it pretty easily.
Exactly. Like all that's due is just the $28 million this year. Everything else is non-guaranteed money. It's just going to be like a option thing. Now, Pork, let me ask you this. You think that there's a way, let's say he has a good season. Do you think that there's a way that they can reconstruct his contract for less money? It doesn't work that way. Right?
I think you can, because Howie Roseman's been doing that with a lot of guys. You can kind of backload the contracts a little bit, so it can kind of save on the cap for this year, for the next year,
So like
and then you just you know how they do. It's all monopoly money. But all you can do is just keep moving that money back until the end, until it's up. But he can make it work, and especially like we said, it's $28 million. It's not like you said. I think Garoppolo's making like 33. Kirk Cousins making like 35 or something like that.
It's more than that. 40 something.
Yeah.
Cap hit this year is like over.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
For Kirk Cousins, it doesn't take
for Kirk.
And I like Kirk.
Exactly.
I like Kirk as a quarterback, but he doesn't.
Kirk is good.
Yeah, he's good, but it just shows you
he doesn't move the needle.
He does not move the needle. Sometimes you just need good quarterbacks. Some teams need elite quarterbacks. Some teams need a quarterback that can carry a team on their back. How many quarterbacks like that are still available? Aaron Rodgers, he's been doing that, and he's tired. Yeah, he got paid as he's supposed to, but let's see. If Aaron Rodgers
earned that money.
Yeah, if he doesn't take his team to the Super Bowl, then it's like, why do they pay him for it? You play to win the game, right? So everybody's doing their best to put themselves in position to win games. Now, Rodgers has his comment right. He goes, it's a 6-1 odd for us to win Super Bowl. Before Wentz, now it's 7-1. Let that sink in. I don't care about the odds. Okay, I don't care about the odds. I don't care. This is why. People are telling me that Heineke is a better quarterback than Wentz. It's crazy to me. Everybody's telling me that Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback than Wentz, like last year, or even the year that he took over. It's crazy. I'm not saying that he cannot become a better quarterback down the line, but let's be serious here. Some guys, the same guys that are saying that Trubisky sucks, right? Or that Trubisky can come here and lead this team to playoffs, which he has. You know, he's led his team to playoffs, where he had a good defense, kind of managed the game, but he doesn't move the needle. I'm not saying that Carson Wentz moves the needle as well, but what I'm saying is that the guy has talent. He has talent. Yeah. Everything has to be put in place to give this guy success. Okay, so let's see what happens at wide receiver, because we're doing all this talking right now. If they don't improve the surrounding talent around this guy, it can get really, really ugly. But people wanted Marcus Mariota. Are you serious? He's a wild card. You don't even know what he can do. I saw somebody say, okay, here's this one. We could have sent a third or a second to Green Bay for Jordan Love. Why?
You haven't seen it. We've seen one game, and that game was mediocre.
Exactly.
It's like it seemed like we're on Carson Wentz fatigue. We've seen too much bad to not see any of the good that he's done so far in this league. He almost won the MVP in 2017. He had 27-7, I think, last year. What I don't understand what you don't see.
27-7 with the Washington football team. You know what kind of record that would be? I've been praying for a quarterback that would give me 27-7, for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And then now you finally have one. People are saying trade for Jordan Love. Jordan Love has shown me nothing. I know nothing about this guy. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good quarterback, but instead of trading a third or second, draft somebody for a third and second. For all I care, because that's the same kind of person you'll be getting, a wild card, a guy you don't even know. Can the coaching staff coach this guy up? So there's just a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different. And I appreciate everybody's opinion. We don't ever have to agree. Since I didn't want Russ because he'll be like $27 million a year, and that kills our ability to add free agents. We're talking about Russell Wilson, man. He's talking about $27 million a year. We're talking about Russell Wilson. So people didn't want Russell Wilson. People didn't want Carson Wentz. Washington fans, what did you guys want?
But you want Jordan Love and Trubisky and Mariota.
Draft a quarterback this year in a class that's supposedly weak, and then we're going to lose games. We're going to be grooming this guy. So then now you want this young guy to be something in year 2 or 3, which is not even guaranteed. At least have a vet, have a young guy, and just see what happens. He says Mitch would have been $10 million. I don't think Mitch is going for $10 million. I can guarantee, call me out if I'm wrong, Washington Commander. I think that Mitch Trubisky goes for more than $10 million a year this year. Because this is a market that teams need quarterbacks. and the market dictates what people get paid. I could be totally wrong, and I look, I'll admit when I'm wrong. What I'm saying is, I think that Mr. Trubisky gets more than $10 million a year, just because I can count at least 5 teams who need quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, 10 is 10 is a little light. I think maybe like closer like 15, 16, possibly.
You. Last year was 10. Last year was 10 because there was a need for a lot of teams with quarterback needs. This year is a lot.
Okay. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. The Giants, they need another quarterback. Now, 10 for the Giants makes sense. 10 for Pittsburgh or one of these other teams like that, even the Colts.
Carolina.
Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So I think he has more. I think Mr. Trubisky will be the most coveted free agent quarterback. Look, it sounds crazy to say. It's between him and Jameis Winston as the 2 best free agent quarterbacks right now. And it's not a guarantee that neither one would have came to DC. So we can say all we want to say about, look, better situations are everywhere else but Washington. So we have to keep that in mind. Let me see. Roger says it's a reason why Indy let him go after a year with his coach. I get all that. But I'll say this. Heineke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I need an upgrade. I need a quarterback that can get me a chance at 10 wins. And Heineke just wasn't that. There was at least 4 games that the team lost because of Taylor Heineke. Yeah, I'm sorry. He just couldn't throw the ball. He had noodle arms. Based off of what was available in free agency, this was the best move I felt. Like when I first saw it, I wasn't like excited, then I wasn't mad as well.
Yeah.
But I did see an upgrade. I saw a major upgrade. But let's see.
Content. That's fine with that.
It says the ability to build a team around a rookie or a cheap QB is way smarter than paying a top QB money. I get that. But the last time we did this, there was a guy by the name of Dwayne Haskins. Remember him? Yeah. I think they drafted him in the first round, right? And they were building around him, right? Was that Landon Collins? Was he paid before or after? Think about it. Free agents don't come to DC. Free agents get overpaid in DC. So look, it sounds good. It sounds nice. Trust me, I would love to have a nice young rookie quarterback, even to a guy that's even Baker Mayfield's type of level. We haven't had that. Like, you don't even see, so even if it's a Baker Mayfield type of level, not great, not good, decent, rookie deal, you put some pieces around him and try to win that way. The team is trying to, but the thing is, like, to attract free agents to come here, it all starts with quarterback play. It starts with quarterback play. So you can still, like I said, you can still draft a rookie and groom that person. Whoever that you bring, you have to be committed to that person for 5 years. Ron Rivera is heading into year 3. He don't got 5 years. He don't got 5 years.
He don't.
He should have done
at least one more.
Yeah, he should have done this year 1. So this Carson Wentz move is tied to Ron Rivera's job somewhat. What this move says, Ron Rivera has to get 10 wins or playoffs, right?
Get an
Instead
extension.
of the 7, in the 7 he's had the first 2 years. So you got to get at least 9 and 10 wins to kind of say, okay, we see what you're doing, whether you have a young quarterback in the wings or not. Let me read some more of these comments. These are good. Y'all keep coming. It says, we got to start in QB in the trade without giving up a first-round pick. Thank you.
I'm fine with that.
Thank you. The next one says, in the last 23 years, how many teams have traded for a QB and won a Super Bowl? How many have?
One.
Yeah. How many drafted a young guy and won the Super Bowl? Mahomes. Who else? Okay.
Right. It's not much.
Yeah. It sounds good. But
because it's like because Brady has a whole bunch.
Right.
Nick Foles was technically drafted by the Eagles, but that was a whole different backup thing. So
it is really hard to win. It takes more than just a quarterback. So it's good to, it says we won't win 7 games with Wentz. You can forget about the playoffs. Pass happy. Scott Turner and Wentz is a recipe for disaster. I love your confidence, and we will be at this all year long. Keep that same energy, Roger. I remember that. That says the Cardinals drafted Rosen and didn't give up drafting because of it. Look, I've always said, anybody who listens to my stream says, why not draft a quarterback every single year? If you're going to trade first round picks to get the guy. Why not draft a quarterback every year until one of those guys become the guy?
Mm-hmm.
It's
y'all drafted 2 in 1 year.
Drafted 2 in 1 year, and where are they now?
Yeah.
Gone.
Right.
So I mean, there's like, even if you draft one every other year, whatever you want to do, it's still a process. You don't draft one and that guy is the right guy. So there's multiple ways to find a quarterback. Philly Notion, appreciate you hopping on the stream. This guy right here, he's the biggest Philly content creator that I know. So y'all, Porkman, link up with him. He's a great guy. He says, fellas, great stream. He says, I see y'all trying to be like Philly. Just let it go. Y'all are not replicating the 2017 Super Bowl, but Carson definitely is an upgrade over Taylor Heineke. Thank you. And this is coming from a Philly fan. But Washington fans will tell me that Taylor Heineke is better than Carson Wentz, and that's fine. That's fine. I said 6 teams have drafted their QB in 1. That's awesome. That's awesome. That seems like a great recipe. I wish more teams would do it. I mean, he said
with this year, it's kind of hard because there's only 2 quarterbacks. That to me, in my personal preference, that's really going to move the needle for a team. But those 2 are probably going to be going and Pickett. Yeah, I'm not the biggest. Corrals is as average to me. I don't like Carson Strong at all.
And here's what happened: in years where quarterbacks fall, there's a reason why these quarterbacks are falling in the draft. Like the way that the year that Dwayne Haskins was taken at 15, I was scratching my head because I'm like, nobody's trading up to come get this guy. He's falling. I don't know. So this year, there's going to be some guys that fall. There's going to be some guys that eventually become something, but I'm tired of guessing. I'm tired of guessing. It says, get ready for Carson to quit on your team and his teammates, question his leadership. It will be a disaster trade in 2 years' time. Cool. That's respectable. That's fair. It says 5 free agent signings and 1 Super Bowls, 16 drafted, 1 free agent. Guess what? They can still draft a guy in the 3rd round. They can still draft a guy in the 2nd round. They can still draft a guy so you can have your wish. I hope your wish comes true. I hope, look, we're all on the same team. We're both trying to win. But let's see what happens. It says use the data. I am using the data. You said 16 teams have drafted and 1. That's great. More teams should be drafted. If it was that easy, I think it'll be more than 16 teams. It's a lot of factors that go into who wins, who loses. But that's if the draft is working, hey, hopefully we draft the Mahomes.
Right.
We drafted Josh Allen because I've been looking for those kinds of guys. But it seems like every time Washington is in the market to draft a quarterback, they're always drafting the quarterback in the wrong year. That year was the wrong year. I said, get something else, attack the next year. They had Tua, Herbert, Burrow, and all these other guys, right? This year is the wrong year to draft, in my opinion. Next year is a better year.
Wait till next year. It is.
There's going to be plenty of prospects coming out. He says Sam Howell. I love Sam Howell, but I don't know what Sam Howell is going to become. I don't know. He needs a perfect system. He needs. We've seen that Sam Howell is a guy that needs weapons around him. You saw what happened when Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, and De'Ami Brown.
De'Ami Brown, Daz Newsome, all were gone.
What did he look like? And that's college. Imagine him going to a bad team like the Lions were last year without weapons. And let's see what Sam Howell looks like. If he looks great, oh wow, Jimmy the Gosh Batman. He's something, you know what I'm saying? If not, a lot of times coaches put these quarterbacks out there. They put him out there, and I'm like, why the heck is he out here now? He's not ready.
Right.
You push your guys to get out there. But as we wrap this thing up, Pork, give me your final remarks. Let me know what you think happens this year as your final prediction.
I think Carson has a solid year. I think De'Ami Brown will have a better year. It kind of helps him out a lot. But and Terry McLaurin have a good year. But I just think if they just scale down the offense a little bit for him, try to give him a little bit more confidence while he's in the backfield, so he has some time. It's time to throw the ball in the pocket like he had last year with the Colts in the first half of the season. I think you guys have a good, solid 8 to 9 win team this year, and it's a possible playoffs with the extra spot. So probably second in the division. I don't see you guys winning the division just yet, but you still need some more pieces. We'll see what it looks like after the draft.
And that's what I'm thinking too. I think the goal is to try to finish second. Try to push Dallas, try to push Philly. Everybody's counting out Philly, but you never know what happens. Like last year, I counted out Philly, and Philly ended up winning 9 games.
I counted them out myself.
in a rebuild year. You know what I'm saying? The year before that, Giants were competitive. So the NFC East, anything can happen. Dallas still has to re-sign a lot of their guys. Losing Amari Cooper, what does Michael Gallup look like? What does Dak Prescott look like now that Amari Cooper's gone? I've not seen Dak look good without Amari Cooper. So we'll say all this, right? Washington Commander, appreciate you hopping on the stream. You put a lot of great input, a lot of great thoughts. Some I don't agree with, but that's fine. He says we have the best weapons that Sam Howell has had. So here's my thing with the weapons that the Washington Commanders have. Terry is good. Logan Thomas is good when healthy, and then you have Gibson. We need more. I'm not impressed with the with that receiver group as a whole. That's part of the reason why quarterbacks don't come here. Maybe if you had, let's say you had a Terry and a guy like Juju or even Amari Cooper whoever already set in place, then it's more appetizing. It's like, okay, you got a guy in the roster. If you guys notice, I've been discounting Curtis Samuel every single time. I don't know who he is. I've not seen him. He could be Paul Richardson 2.0. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not. Yeah. But let's see what he can do this year. So I continue to not include Curtis Samuel in talks until he has shown me who he is. I don't know him. He's on the roster, but I've never seen him. And if you've seen him, tell him I said hello.
Hey, I've seen him in Carolina. He got sauce, but the sauce was dry here. I don't get it.
Gotta see him. So here's Dre's comment. He says, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I love him. George Pickens, John Mechie. John Mechie, I love them too. Says Levictus Smith,
a guard. Yeah.
I don't know him, but hey, those first two, if you can get something along that line, best available in the first round, whether it's Sauce Gardner or whoever that falls, then get your wide receiver in the second round. I'm okay with that. With also hopefully adding a veteran wide receiver that can actually play. I don't want no more Adam Humphries. No. I don't want no Kansas types. No. I want a guy, even if you're going to add an old guy, add a guy like A.J. Green who has some kind of pedigree. I talked about his age. At least add somebody who's done something. Quit bringing me guys that might do something. I'm tired of shopping at the Dollar General. It's time to start spending some money. And with Wentz taking some of that cap, there's still ways to maneuver to kind of get somebody. Just surround the guy with weapons. So I'm going to read the last few comments and we're done. It says $28 million for Wentz with those lost draft picks hurts us adding those pieces. Oh, we lost a third-round pick. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm going to miss that third-round pick so much. Nope.
You're not.
For the third-round pick, you couldn't find a quarterback. Let's just look at it like this. Trying to get a quarterback with that third-round price for what you're getting, you can't get it anywhere.
In the third round.
In the third round. Out of what was available, Wentz was the best out of all the quarterbacks that were available that were actually attainable. We're not talking about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson ain't waving his no trade clause to come to DC. Nah, that wasn't happening. Outside of that, everybody wants Derek Carr. Who told y'all Derek Carr is available? So it is what it is. It is what it is. He says, now we need Leo Chanel in a second. All these names you guys are giving me is great because guess what? I'm going to go do my homework and learn who these guys are. So he says, I'm just saying Sam Howell is reuniting with De'Ami Brown. I get it. But to me, De'Ami Brown still has not moved the needle. He has not moved the needle. I don't know who De'Ami Brown is. Okay. But I will know who De'Ami Brown is this year. So that's great. He says, plus Terry. Everybody keeps saying plus Terry. You need more than just Terry. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing what people see in De'Ami Brown. I'm not seeing what you guys see in Curtis Samuel. I don't see it. And I'm tired of being optimistic. I'm the most optimistic fan ever. Oh, we're going to do this and I'm happy. And then they let me down. I'm not counting those guys. That's why I keep saying
you got burnt too much.
Too many times. Since 99, best wide receiver we've ever had is Santana Moss and now Terry. Just go figure. Go figure. It's been rough. It's been rough around here, bro. So this is a great stream. This is a great stream. This is a great episode. The Back Row Washington Commanders Show. Appreciate you guys listening. Please subscribe, like, share on Apple, Spotify. If you're new to the channel, please like the YouTube channel. Please share. We'll be doing this more once again for my awesome special guest, Porkman. I appreciate you hopping on the stream. It was a great one. ProTech Sports in the building. Y'all go ahead and follow ProTech Sports. It says Carson Wentz is a huge upgrade. He kind of tell him, but I'm not preaching this thing hard enough. But I'm excited for the season. Let's see what happens with the rest of free agency. Take command. Let's get it, Porkman. Plug yourself. Where can the people find you and your content?
You can find my content on YouTube. It's at the Dynasty Rewind. It's me and 3 other guys. We do a weekly podcast. Actually, we do daily drops every day now. So just snippets of fantasy, rookie breakdowns, trade updates, like like we talked today, and just sometimes a good old time. Me and my boy Mike, we go back and forth, roasting each other, talking about his terrible scouting, and sometimes my misses too. But it's always a good time. We treat you guys like family. We have a Patreon as well. You can join us on patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. And we have a group chat on there, so you can hit us up on there as well.
All right, guys, man, I'm out. I'll be dropping some video about the NBA, dropping some video about the NFL, and as well as some fantasy football. Appreciate all the support as always. I love y'all, and y'all keep doing what y'all do. I will catch you guys on the next episode. We out. Peace.